I was wondering how you were gonna do that.
Hmm.
Except we need to do a channel. It's 6:30. We'll call to order the St. James Utility Board meeting for June 2nd, 2026. Doesn't look like we have any citizen input tonight. Yeah, are you? Did you sign up?
Thank you very much.
We need to approve the minutes from May 5th of 2026. Does anybody have any comments, questions about the minutes?
Look clean to me.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Carl made a motion to approve the minutes and Justin seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of payments and invoices.
I've got a few questions, just for my satisfaction. Is the workman's comp paid quarterly? I don't remember, $145,000, I don't
So
remember.
that was,
Or is that every 6 months?
Was that a mistake?
so board member, so those are paid annual. And so that's
Oh, once a
actually
year?
more than workers' comp.
Okay.
That's our insurance for property, liability, workers' comp, that's our MIRMA.
Okay,
And so half of that is paid by the general fund, and then the other half is paid by utilities.
okay. I noticed it said half.
Correct,
I assume that's what it was.
right.
So it's once a year.
It's once a year, yes, sir.
Okay,
Well, that's.
okay. I had a question on a couple of bills also.
Once a year.
I'm sure it's legitimate, I just want to, for my own satisfaction. Chemicals for this, I assume treatment plant, $8,000?
Yes.
That was for the pools, or what was that for?
Was it for the what?
It's $8,023 for chemicals for the,
So,
I assume it's a sanitation plant, I don't know.
so it's for the wastewater plant.
Okay,
So, prior to the upgrade to the wastewater treatment plant, that $3.2 million upgrade,
okay, yeah, I knew that.
there was no chemicals used out at the plant. It was just all natural, that was the bugs,
Okay.
basically. Now, whenever we get I&I, the inflow and infiltration, which
Okay.
is the stormwater, it goes into basically the stormwater basin, but then it circulates back through the plant.
Okay,
So then chemicals are added to that to help, basically.
okay. I figured that's what it was for, I
And
wanted to make sure.
Then you got to remove the chemicals before
Right,
you send it on
right.
out to Robinson Creek.
Okay,
So that's
that makes sense.
So how often do you have to?
whenever you got a big.
Whatever you
Oh,
gotta do.
so you just
Sunday
buy it
would-
as needed?
Sunday would have been one.
Okay.
I had a question on it says phone bill, $2,500. MSP phone services, is that every month? I don't know what that is either,
Yes.
so
Yeah,
what it
we
is
split that with the city.
with the city, so it's $5,000 a month for phone service, okay. I just wanted to make sure, and I think I had one other one. And I'm sure this was, it was marking paint and flags was $2,500. I'm sure there was other things with that. Let me find it here.
What page is that on?
On page,
Make sure it's
on page 4, down with, from core and main LP.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay, is that more than, that's for marking paint only? That's for six,
Paint and flags.
okay. Okay,
I mean, locates are done every day.
2,500 a.
okay.
And that was they were just restocking the.
I don't remember
the
ever
shelf.
seeing it on there. I was just curious what it was.
Yeah, so that would be just, I mean, we don't buy it per project, so we
Okay.
buy it until the.
I
shelf-
assume you buy it in larger quantities.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's all I've got. So carry on.
Someone want to make a motion to pay the bills?
Don't ask. Can't find out if you don't ask.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion to approve by Josh, second by Carl. Reports, people services.
All right. No, it's kind of been an eventful month. We got the trench for the new power cable laid out and dug out at the plant. We got the bid back from the contractor this morning. It's higher than we wanted, so we're looking at alternatives right now. Big one is that lift station 3 had an upper flange failure. We think it was during the big storm on the 18th when it lost power, surged back, caused issue. We got the engineer's report back this morning on that. There may have been it may not have been installed correctly. So there was, when he and I went down there, there was one bolt that was visibly installed correctly. It was into the pipe. The other side, which should have been torqued in, was not torqued in. It had left no mar whatsoever on the pipe. So we believe that there may have been any error on the install. So we need to check the middle one that hasn't been done, number 2. Number 1's already been replaced because of the leaking flange gasket. But we are looking into what we can do about that. And then water side, we had a large number of locates last month. It was 110, the most that we've had. We did have to turn on well 4 briefly for fire protection at the beginning of the month when 214 Parker caught fire. That basically right across, kitty corner across the street from it, is for fire protection. So it was only turned on briefly, 20,000 gallons, and then turned back off. So, and then we replaced a fire hydrant here in the park. The one that was, as everybody drove in, was off to your left. That we found was not tied into the water system of the rest of the park. It actually is on its own line. So we had MRWA come out, locate it out where that pipe goes, and it connects over on Springfield, as far as we can tell. So we need to update the maps once we get good eyes on that and find out exactly where it connects in and everything. I think that mostly covers it for now.
So if that was installed incorrectly, are you thinking that there's some recourse to have it?
I'm waiting to hear back from Ken on that. Hopefully there's something we can do in terms of recourse if it wasn't installed incorrectly. So, because that would have been an error when they did it.
And that's why we wanted Ken to get eyes on it.
Yeah.
Ken Campbell with Archer, so
I
that.
was gonna say, so, because surely if there's a power failure and it comes back on, it shouldn't have a power surge like that, right?
Well, it was a water surge when it flowed back down the hill. There's protection on the valve, but there's only so much it can do.
Right.
So, and it was a big storm, a lot of water.
All right.
Grant, why don't you run down what the electric guy's been going after?
Yep, so today we changed the pole out in front of the post office. We've been tree trimming on line 74. Line 74 is our transmission line, running up West Washington between that and Hardy in the alley there. Did some tree trimming in there, and then we also changed a couple double circuit poles up through there, kind of getting ready for a reconduct to happen maybe next budget year. you may have seen there's a planned outage at the Parker Lane substation Thursday morning, 4 AM. We've got to shut that substation transformer down to adjust the taps on the transformer. The regulators are kind of working harder than they should be, so. That's about all I've got.
So as far as the Amazon project, that's the big thing that's got everybody kind of up in arms at this point. Amazon has gotten their temporary occupancy permit as of last Friday. And they are doing EV chargers. Transformer is on order. They did pay for that transformer, and it should be delivered the second week of July. All of their infrastructure as far as conduit under the parking lot, their conductors, their panels out in the parking lot for where they're going to install their chargers, that's already ready to go. Their big holdup right now is asphalt and concrete, and doing their final grade on the parking lot. But all in, at this point in time, the project substantial completion should be done on the 19th, roughly, of June of this month. And then sometime tail end of July, Amazon will go into business. And we'll be done. So then we'll just wait for the next big project to kick off. And pretty much those guys have covered everything. The AMI water meters are still being installed. So I do not have a number for you this month, but I'll bring one next month. And the only thing I've got about sanitation is we're having an issue with squirrels. The squirrels are actually cutting their teeth on the rollout carts. So we've got a couple of them over here off of Terry Lane, or one or two squirrels that are terrorizing the neighbors. One of them was Nathan Singleton. Nathan was able to, we replaced the lid on his can, and he was using peppermint oil and got that squirrel to go across the street and terrorize his neighbor. We've got two of them that have kind of moved into the toters at the library. And we've got one that's chewing the lid off the dumpster behind City Hall. So this isn't something we had even thought about. So Matt I did tell him this morning to get a couple squirrel live traps on order. So when we get into these situations where they're actually causing major damage, we'll start trying to trap them and take them out to the dump.
Sounds
and
like
get
we'd be better off just spraying the trash can.
We're gonna put pictures.
Well,
Wanted pictures.
the problem, I mean, you can use different things. You can use peppermint oil. You can use clove. Some people have mentioned red pepper juice or some type of pepper juice. The issue is if the can sits outside, then it's going to wash off whenever it rains. So I don't know what the solution is, but the squirrels are very thick. I've had a lot of complaints about the numbers of squirrels in town.
They just chewing on lids?
Well, they'll chew, they're trying to cut their teeth.
Yeah.
Cut
So
their teeth down. So
they're not trying to get in the
They
can.
start on the lid because they can sit on top of it
Yeah.
and chew on the corner.
The handle.
No, not on the corner. It's actually on the side of the lid. And then as they get going, then
But it's not the can itself, just the lid.
once they get through the lid, then they get to the can.
I just have a friend who has patio furniture made of that poly wood stuff.
Yes.
And they have chewed it to like
I was gonna
nubs.
say, because if you just left the lid open, then they'd have to just sit on the corner then, I guess. I
Then
guess
you
they'd
got
still
rid
do
of
it.
Yeah,
It wouldn't
I mean,
matter.
they'd still,
They'd still do it.
honestly, up in Illinois, they were chewing on the power lines and the guy wires. I mean,
They're just hungry.
well, they're trying to cut those teeth, they're shave them down, so I mean, that's what they're doing. Anyway, so we are gonna, I guess sanitation's gonna kind of get into the live trapping business as far as squirrels when they do damage on some of these cans.
And then we're gonna have a citywide squirrel fry.
Sell the hides.
I'm staying out of that one. That's all I got.
This has a video.
Anything else?
Nope, that's all I have.
Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. As I told you earlier, our auditor is here. He's working on the 24-25 audit. So our council approved the 23-24 audit. So like I said, he's here working on the next one. Hopefully, we'll be bringing that forward to the utility board and the council, hopefully in a few months. So we hope. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully no longer than 3 or 4 months. So hopefully that audit will be out, and then we can move forward and be caught up, and then he can start working on our 26 audit, and we can be moving forward on a good run. What we are working on right now with staff is our budget. So I would like to talk to this board about having your budget work session. Last year, we had our work session the hour before our July meeting. I was hoping that that would be amiable to everyone. This meeting starts at 6:30, that maybe we meet at 5:30, or maybe even a little bit earlier, start at 5. Maybe we can supply dinner, like sandwiches or something like that, if everybody would like. We can bring in staff for that meeting as well. And we can have that work session from like 5 to 6:30 before it starts. That way we can knock out the budget for the whole year, and we can do it for July. And then that way we can bring the budget for the meeting in August. And that way I can bring it to the council for their work session that they will be having in August as well. So we will be having a public, council will hear this soon, that we will be having, I will be having several public meetings. I'm going to be having 2 meetings, mostly just listening to the public. That's really what these meetings are for. Letting them know about what the revenues are, what our sales tax is, what our property taxes are for the general fund, and then just hearing about what their concerns are and what their needs are, that they feel the needs are for the city, so that way I can bring that back to the city council. And so that's what these public meetings are going to be. I'm going to be having one at night here in the chamber, and then probably having one during the day. I'd like to have it at a different location during the day, so I'll probably have that somewhere else, and I'll be advertising it real soon. We will have to have a public hearing before the council adopts the budget, and that will be in early September. And then council will adopt the budget in September, and then as our budget starts October 1. Okay? So that's sort of in a nutshell how our budget runs. It will be a fast and furious July, August, and September. But the general fund budget is pretty much almost all done. It's just something that I need to sit down and, we've pretty much been working with all the general fund. And I've got all the revenue done for the utilities, but now I'm working with each of the individuals, going to start working with each of the individual departments to look at what their expenditures are, what their needs are for the expenditures. Part of the problem is that we're in the process with like electricity. We're in the process of a rate study right now with Toad for electricity, so we're sort of in that, in-betweener. So we'll probably have to do it without the rate study, and then bring that rate study. It's probably going to happen right about the same time as when the budget's done, so that's going to be a little tricky for me, but it's doable. I can do it. And so it'll be something that I'll be bringing to the board. The board will make recommendations and then bring them to the council. So that's all I have. Any questions?
Do you want to give a quick breakdown of the audit results for the people that weren't there? Can you do that?
The audit, I will tell you, so this is 23-24 audit. Pretty much was, it wasn't a bad audit. There was some losses into the general fund. Right now, the auditor and I are still trying to do some cleaning up in the audit. He's seeing, right now, one of the things that auditors are supposed to do, the main things that they're supposed to do, is look at things for fraud, waste, and abuse. So like today, he sat down with Andy and went, as she was doing the payroll, he watched her. And that's what he was doing. He was making sure that as everybody put in their time, that, Andy's putting in the correct, amount of, time for them, the overtime for them. He's making sure that there was no fraud that was being done, that there's no waste, that there's no abuse or anything like that. He's getting into now, the first year, which he was sort of new with us, he's sort of checking our past audit, and he saw a lot of discrepancies from our past audits. Because when looking at the, past audit and looking at what they do, it was a lot of differences. There was no questions about fraud, waste, or abuse, and they're asking these right questions. He sat down with Linda today and looked at how she pays her invoices and how she does this in the ERP system, and that's what he does, He asked, our city attorney for a letter to see if he, if he has noticed any kind of fraud, waste, or abuse. And those are typical things that auditors do, is look for fraud, waste, and abuse and things like that. Over the past year, these are things that I knew that were coming up. As you may or may not know, we rewrote our procurement code, because the procurement code that he looked at, it was very, very weak. And so now we do not have a weak procurement code. There's no, there's always ways that somebody can always find some kind of fraud, fraud, waste, or abuse in there, but it's much more strenuous, and it leaves, less chances of fraud, waste, or abuse. Tomorrow, we have a meeting to talk about, Lyle's part of this meeting, it's to talk about, and Andy as well, to talk about our capitalization SOP, because we don't have one. And one of the things, the reason I was with him till 6 o'clock this afternoon was because we have a lot of projects, or a lot of, projects that we've done in the past that we never capitalized. And so I'm having to go back and capitalize some of these projects that we've never capitalized and how they're not in our ERP system. So, while, he's finding a lot of things when, there's a lot of cleaning up that we're doing. So overall, it was a good audit. It really was. And I think the city is in much better shape financially.
Did, anything on the electric funds that you were looking into, the industrial, commercial? Is
No,
that-
not
was it
yet.
panning
We're still,
out?
I think we did the POs for the company that's gonna come down and do the.
Watt hour
electrical-
solutions.
Yeah, and I think he's supposed to be here at the end of June.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks, yeah. And so once we get, the report from him, I'm hoping that we can have some, some.
Is there any chance like these audit things had something to do with what they carried over? No.
No, I don't really believe so. I think that we're gonna find that probably the cost of electricity is higher now. I think that's one of the items that's happening is that, Toth is finding that our cost for electricity is higher than it was before, because our purchase price of electricity is the same as last year, almost well, not exactly the same, but 4.9 million. And we're gonna probably Andy and I looked at it and tried to forecast forward to the end of the year, and we're probably gonna spend about the exact same amount as we did last year. But when we run reports within the ERP system, shall see. But, yeah, so you just, I mean, you gauge, I'm new to electric, and the way you gauge water is by the weather, and electric's the same way. If it's cold, people are gonna turn on their heaters, and if it's hot and muggy, they're gonna turn on their air conditioners. So, we've got a lot more customers now, we've got a lot more commercial customers because we've put in a lot of new construction, and so I'm hoping that will help a lot as well, so. But right now, I don't have the answers that you want. I wish I did.
Just keep asking.
No, please do. And when I do find it, and if there's something that, like, shoot, if you, like me, you wake up at 2 in the morning and you're like, gosh, you know what? Oh, geez. I wonder if Leanne's thought about this. Please send me something because, I'm always, pestering Grant, well, what about this? What about that? Well, no, we've looked at that, we've looked at this, and so we're constantly trying to figure out what this is. And so,
They will be testing all of our commercial and industrial three-phase customers, which is 80 meters. 7 of them are city accounts.
Last meeting, we talked about getting everything in one bank. Are we working on that still?
yes, sir, we met with a new bank that has been established. Andy and I and Linda met with her, and so we met with her last week. They're setting up the accounts as we
Okay.
speak, and we will be starting to move. We put together sort of how that's going to happen and what it's going to look like, because we do write checks, or we print checks out, they're still signed. And so we are looking at, how we're going to transition over from one to the other.
Right.
So we do have a transition plan, so we do have that.
Okay. I know we talked about at one time of having a collection agency to get some of the
Yeah,
delinquent bills. Have we done anything on that?
Yeah, Andy and I've actually looked at a couple and have put some feelers out to get some quotes on how they do. I'd like to work with a company here in Missouri,
Yes.
work with as local as we can. They're a little different. They sort of don't want to, it's a little difficult to talk to a person.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. They want to do everything online or by email. So lately, I just seem to be going back and forth, or some kind of virtual little box on the side. Hi, my name is Stella. Want to answer questions. But so I need a proposal.
Okay.
Because since I did reach out to a couple of cities to see if they have anyone but I haven't found any. I haven't talked to Rolla. I've talked to their finance director about other things, but maybe I'll reach out to the finance director, Rolla, and see if they have a collection agency.
Okay.
But I think that would be, Rolla would be,
RMU, yeah.
not-
Right.
yeah,
Wouldn't be the
so
city.
that's probably something different, sorry. So I probably need to reach out to RMU and see.
Okay.
You're gonna go to a bank we currently don't use? You're gonna abandon ship? Is that what you're thinking?
Pardon me?
You said you've got a new bank.
Yes,
Are you-
the council adopted a new, we put out an RFP for banking and investment services.
Not local.
It is local, yes. It's town and country.
And it was because they were spread over, 2 or 3 banks?
Oh, yeah, they were everywhere. And this way, that was an audit issue. It was we were having issues with reconciliations, with the audit, and even the auditor was like, oh, I can't wait till you go to one bank, and one bank only. Yeah, and one bank account. We had 12 to 24 bank accounts.
Was some of that because of the Merrimack owning the
No,
cemetery and the
no.
park, and it was all divided out? It wasn't? That wasn't some of those? Okay.
Don't ask, I can't answer that question.
I think they just tried to
I
keep
know.
things separate.
I
It's kind of nice, but it is a
But
lot.
I don't wanna say what the
Terrible.
idea is. Any other
Right.
questions?
Anybody else? Question? Anybody else?
Nothing?
Yes, there's no unfinished business.
What about the,
Oh, I forgot.
are we doing the
Thank you. So-
card?
Pardon me?
Are we addressing the card,
Yes, that's a resolution, sir.
Okay.
Before we begin, before we move forward, and I apologize for this, when you did the acceptance of the unpaid bills, you did not run a,
Oh.
you took a first and a second, but you didn't take a vote.
Everybody, yeah.
Yes.
See,
You do need to take a vote, yes.
we take a vote on the, on paying the bills.
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I got going. Thank you.
Oh, see, again. Okay, so move on to the new business, the resolution, 26-125.
So this is a resolution to recommend to the city council to approve a fleet card application. And this is with Right Express Incorporated. It's called WEX by short. So right now, the city does have credit cards for fuel. I want to say, MFA.
I think we have 3 different ones.
Three different ones, but they can only be used at theirs only. Wex is a little different. Wex can be used anywhere. The only places that Wex can't be used at is Buc-ee's and Costco. And don't ask me why they can't be used there, but they can't. But the one great thing about Wex is that it can be used anywhere. So we don't have to have an individual card for all 3 of these, so that means you got one card for all of them, okay? And so, sorry, let me put my glasses, I got new glasses, and so y'all bear with me, I'm sorry. But currently, we're using all these various fueling stations, and as a city, it's really difficult when you have that many credit cards to keep up with it all. You're not able to use these fuel cards while you're traveling either, because they're set for a specific fueling station. So you would have to use like our purchasing card when you travel. So the one great thing about WEX is, let's say the police department, I'll use them because sometimes they travel more than others, but let's say they go up to Columbia for some training, and up there they need to fill up one of their police cars. Well, there's a gas station and it takes WEX. They can use their WEX card for that fueling. The WEX fuel system program, what it does is it assigns the card to the unit, okay? So every piece of equipment that we have, even if you have tractors or whatever, if you want them to have a fueling card, they can have one as well. So when you go into a fuel station, I'm gonna, one of the fuel stations here, you will take out that fuel card, let's say it's in the glove compartment, okay? You take it out, you put it in, it's gonna ask you for your individual user ID number. So anybody that uses any of the vehicles, okay, as long as you have your own user ID card, you can use any of the vehicles, because the card, the WEX card will stay in the vehicle. So you put in the card, you punch in your user ID number, and then you punch in the odometer reading. Okay, so WEX is gonna send all The first year, they will be giving us a discount on, per gallon, it's 15 cents for every gallon that we purchase. And then after the first year, it goes down to, I think, we only get a discount of 6 cents. But the more gasoline that we use, the higher discount we get, okay? So, 15 cents for the first year and 6 cents after that, that's, I mean, with the price of gas right now, that's pretty good. So, this is a system that I'm used to. Where I came from, we had the WEX fueling system. It went really well. It also helps, we had it where you can also limit people on the number of times that they can fuel. That way, if you have somebody that fuels, like 3 or 4 times during the day, you can limit the number of times they fuel because, so you sort of start thinking, why do they need to fuel up 4 or 5 times every day? What's going on? Unless they're traveling, that's totally legitimate. But, for something like that, we used to only allow our police officers to only fuel twice a day. And this was a bigger city that I lived in, but, the other reason for having the odometer was because if the odometer reading was, if they put in an odometer reading that was like lower than the previous one, WEX would catch it and WEX would say, hey, sorry, you can't fuel because, your odometer reading is less than what it was the time before. And so what happens is we, Andy or I or Linda, we would be the administrators of the system and we would have to call WEX and reset it. But we would have to figure out why is it that you're putting in, a lower odometer reading when the last odometer reading was, so high. So it's sort of, it's sort of a way of, this is another thing of fraud, waste, and abuse, for our auditing purposes as well. So. And with that, that's all I have. Do you have any questions? This is a really good system. They've been around for years and years and years.
Need a motion?
How many gallons do you think you burn the city in a day?
Right now, I have no idea because
dollars?
there's so many different credit cards. Yeah. It does do hours as well. If you have if we have a backup and you want to fill it up, it will do hours as well. And we would be
Like
able
gas
to use it over in the bigger,
Yeah,
I know the
it's-
trash trucks have to go to, where do they have to go?
Probably don't do a lot of that, but yeah, what do you do for a gas can? I mean,
Yeah,
just
they're
make up the
mostly-
odometer
Thanks.
reading, or do you have something else you put in?
So for gas cans and things
Yeah.
like that, you can have a special WEX card for things like that. That's sort of like a.
Might be
Is it
one
be a
in their
limit or
wallet,
limited?
basically, instead of in the vehicle.
Well, yeah, we've done that before, like for mowers, we've
Yeah.
had just one that's just designated for all the mowers, and we just sort of have a unlimited. But the thing is we do have, Lyle has told me, we do have two gas tanks, right?
We've got one for diesel.
One for diesel.
Yeah.
And,
So
We have
we've
one
got-
down at the
Okay, so
wastewater.
we've got one here at the warehouse,
yeah,
then we got a portable one, it's in the back of Danny's truck.
right. And is that one diesel as well?
Yes.
Okay, so we do have portable diesel, but if we need gasoline, and yeah, it would be something special that we would have to do. And that might be something we would have to put on our purchase card as a one-time thing. So.
Well, if you're doing cutting grass every day, it's not a one-time thing. So just that guy would have that card?
So if for the mowers.
Yeah.
For the mowers, it would be a fleet, it would be a
For
wax
that.
card just for
For
all the
that.
mowers.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal then?
Yeah, no, we've done that, I've done that for mowers. Yeah.
Is it not feasible to do like a card per person issued out to them and then they just use
No,
a vehicle number?
The way WEX works, the card stays on the unit, on the unit being the vehicle, and then each person has their own individual ID number.
number, like a
Yeah.
PIN number.
Like a PIN number, yeah, sorry. Woo. Get rid of this car.
So that kind of tracks who does what.
Mhm. Does it take very long to get replacements if one gets lost?
From my experience, not really. You do have to replace them every one, like when they, like, just like regular credit cards, they do run out, they do expire time-wise, but they do send you replacements early enough. And of course, sometimes, like if they get bent or something, they may have to get replaced, but, yeah. But in cases like that, we do have our purchase card, and we can let them use the purchase card for it.
Till a replacement comes in?
For a short time.
Mhm.
Yeah. We're not gonna let them, especially police, I'm not gonna let them go without fuel. Yeah. Sorry, police, yeah. Electric, yeah.
I mean, so you have no savings on fuel now, because you're just swiping cards.
You bet.
So,
We're
yeah,
not
I
getting
mean,
any-
yeah,
I think we get a few pennies.
I mean, you'll get quite a few,
I don't know.
well, the first year, you'll get quite
I
a
don't
few
think so.
thousand back.
Correct.
I mean, you probably spend $120,000 in
I have
fuel,
no earthly
probably,
idea.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would think.
And it's WEX that's giving us this discount, not the.
Yeah, that's weird, how are they, there's their fee for that,
No.
no, they're just ponying up 15%?
And because I knew so much about the program,
Yeah.
he gave us he cut the fee for signing up, he cut it to.
Yeah, that's a good savings the first year. You better stockpile. I mean, I would be 15%. I would be
I was gonna say, is
stockpiling.
it $40 a card or $40 for all of it?
No, he foregoed that. We
Oh,
don't-
okay,
we're not
don't have to
paying
pay it.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No.
Get a motion for the resolution?
Yeah, I will make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
Justin, a motion to approve. Second. We get a vote.
Per card.
Aye.
Well, that's a $1.25 though. Did you see that? That's $1.25 per swipe. So how many times you gonna swipe that thing?
Not 3 times a day.
Yeah, I wonder if
You-
that eats
I
up the
bet you'll do it.
15%.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you might,
Fuel up when you're empty.
might be a loss, yeah, be careful.
So I guess we need to talk about the meeting date and if
She
you,
didn't,
7's fine.
I mean.
can everybody do,
Yeah.
I mean,
The
come in
5:30.
early? What time?
I'll make it
Okay.
work. I mean, I have no life, but I'll make it work. Yeah, we'll, 5:30, is that the plan? Is that for the next meeting, right?
You want 5 or
5
5:30?
or
Or
5:30?
was it? I don't
I'd
care.
love to have 5.
Yeah, I'll try to make it. My kid graduated, so he just go work. I'll come here. He's out of college.
I'd love to have 5 because last time we did 2 meetings,
Yep.
and I think I can do them all 4 in an hour and a half
Okay.
easily. Because one, it was my first year with you, with the utility board, and I think now, I've got it down pat, so I think I can get it down.
Okay, so we'll do the next meeting on Tuesday, the July 7th at 5
At 5.
with food.
Pardon me?
With food.
With food.
That's right. No food, we don't stay.
I don't know, I'll buy something. If you'll come, yes. And
There's
it
always
has to
too
be
much,
open
so you
to-
might as well.
It has to be open to the public,
Yeah.
but it's not, I mean, the food will be for you guys, but yeah.
Okay, so can we get a motion to adjourn?
So be it.
So be it. That's a motion.
That was the